Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we've got a full album review, um, which is, as you've seen probably from the thumbnail, the band Spite and their album Dedication to Flesh. So those of you who aren't sure who Spite is, who are they? Spite originates from Southern California, and apparently the band got together back in 2010 from my research. In this time the band has lost about 2 drummers and 1 bass player, but as of now it consists of Darius Tarani on vocals, who you may know from other bands such as Project Vengeance or whatever they were called, formerly the Big Six, and he also features quite frequently on other artists' stuff. He's got very unique vocals. I believe his brother Alex Tarani is one of the guitarists, along with Lucas. Now, I'm going to say this probably wrong. Garrigues? Garrigues. And Ben Bamford on bass. And up until recently, they had Josh Baby J Miller on drums, but he is left to focus on his other band, Darko US, with Tom Barber of Chelsea Grin. And I also believe he has a second band on top of that as well, but I can't remember their name. So the band's sound is a blistering deathcore style with like this down-tempo, hardcore-esque, angry energy that just makes you want to break your neck to it. The lyrics sometimes have this like old school death metal, like grotesque, gory descriptions of stuff. It's a wide range of things that you can tell influences their art. The band's EP Misery dropped back in 2015, with their album debut in 2016, which was self-titled. Personally, the self-titled EP, self-titled album, is, I think, my favourite. There's just like this raw aggression to it, but that's neither here nor there. This also had a deluxe edition at one point with the 6 tracks off of their EP added to it in the playlist. The band then signed with Stasic Records for a short period where they dropped 2 albums, being Nothing Is Beautiful in 2017, which was quite a good album, and The Root of All Evil in 2019, which was one that I listened to but never really got hooked on compared to their other stuff. In 2021, they signed to, I believe it was Rise Records, and then Dedication to Flesh came out and hit our eardrums in August of 2022, I believe. And whilst I was doing a little bit of the research on their discography, I found that it actually hit 14th on the Billboard Heatseekers charts in America. So with that short history lesson on Spite's time in the music industry over, let us look at this 12-track album with a runtime of a short but very aggressive 39 minutes. So, the album starts with track 1, Lord of the Upside Down, which is about 3 minutes and 34 seconds. So we get a slow, low build until there's like some distorted talking in the background. And this kind of like carries us over until Darius's vocals kick in. And they just rip into action with his very distinct tone of voice, which is complemented by furious drum work, good guitars, and there was a particular standout section here in the lyrics for me, which says, "Consumed with contempt in my pursuit for retribution, no need for disciples, unlike you, I don't need a following to validate my virtues. A slave obeys. I pave my own way." And I love that the ending line in particular just has this extra like oomph upon delivery. Like it's really kind of like emphasized and poignant. Which this is the thing, like Darius has got quite a good skill for like emphasizing and putting inflections on certain parts where he really wants to add like weird or dirty, grimy sounds. So like if you want something like, I don't know, the word eyeball to sound gnarly, like he has this thing where he can sometimes make it sound like he's got like loads of like water in his mouth, and like just like he sounds like a fucking water going down the drain pipe. It's this man incredibly good. Like that's the one thing I cannot say about Spite enough. Each member of the band is so good at their craft that they know how to create a great song. So moving on from that, we have track 2, which is Caved In, which is a short 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Keeps up the fast pace, moving very swiftly with the nasty drums and the scathing guitar work. The vocals here are so moved between with ease from Alex's like spoken signature like gritty growl to his gutturals into his like weird like higher registered noises, and it's all smoother than fucking butter. And we get this one particular line of "fuck you, you yuppie bitch made ugly fucking cowards," which when that hit and I was reading through the lyrics, it did give me a good fucking chuckle. So moving on, we have track 3, which is Proper One, which is 2 minutes and 46 seconds. The intro here reminds me of a chopper like style motorbike, like idling, rumbling, or a chainsaw potentially, like but that kind of gives you the idea of the sort of noise it makes. But the vocals rip into action here with an intensity and a ferocity. Like there's gnarly groove, the guitars wail as the drums pound, and Darius really fucking goes hard throughout this track, and he puts emphasis on the ends of his words, like upping the fluidity on the P sound. For one of them, it was just fucking grim. Like I say, there's a shorter chorus here as well, in the way of the odds of acting up, the ammo's live, the knot is tied, a proper way to separate. It is just a straight up, short, aggressive, angry, bloody banger. Moving on to track 4, we have Made to Please, which is 3 minutes and 6 seconds, and I believe this one might have been one of the singles off of the album. There's a small sample here, which, after a bit of digging and looking around online, I found was from a movie called The Poughkeepsie Tapes. And a little bit of trivia for you, but this is not the first movie reference used in a Spite album. They've also used quotes from Rob Zombie's movies 31 in the song Doom off of Root of All Evil, and on Thy Bidding off of Nothing Is Beautiful. So if you're a fan of Rob Zombie, you might have picked up on that, or if you listen to it eventually, if you're not into Spite yet, you might pick up on those at a later date. But back to the song, this is just a fucking banger, honestly. With some brutal lyrics like, "As I carve my name into your skull, drink your blood and piss it out, hack off your genitals and shove them down into your mouth," as well as, "Fuck you perverts, I will hunt you down and kill you off." And "Here I stand before steaming guts and charcoaled flesh. I fried the motherfuckers, I'm taking back my innocence, good fucking riddance." Just to name a small portion of the lines that I picked out from this song, which all give you this rage-filled, heavy hitter of a track. But again, this is kind of, lyrics like this was kind of what I was talking about when I said you can tell there's like these old school, like Cannibal Corpse, death metal-esque lyrics sometimes used. And they do not shy away from trying to make them sound as gnarly as you would expect it to be. Like, they really try to paint that picture. But yeah, moving on to track 5 anyway, we have Some Things You Should Know, which is 4 minutes and 9 seconds, and this is the third longest track on the album. And it opens with, "Counting from 10 in search of my morality, it didn't last, it didn't last. I made a song from their breaking limbs, then played it 50 times and sang it to my deathbed." Which really kind of sets the tone for this one, but I didn't really have too much more to say about this one. But nearing the end of the song, the way that Darius says the word blade, again, it's kind of like upping the fluidity on sounds, and it makes it sound like really juicy and phlegmy, and it is gnarly. Track 6, we have the title track, Dedication to Flesh, 3.5 minutes. Like I said, at the halfway point here as we hit the title track, and again, this hits all the spots you would expect from a Spite song. It all drops away at one point, and so we have like this a cappella section where Darius just says, "Drew blood and hid the body together." And I particularly loved the guitar patterns throughout this song, as well as the drum work, which as always has been fucking fantastic. And we get the signature call out of the band's name too. So this is another thing that Spite does quite frequently. They kind of started cutting down on it in later albums, but like if you listen to their very first album, almost every song at one point they will shout out Spite or Spite Cult Motherfuckers. But like I said, the more and more they kind of progress through their discography, the less frequent it becomes. But I think they do try to, well, I don't know if it's intentional, but they definitely at least have it in one song on every album now, I think. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I recall at least hearing it on one song. Moving on, we have track 7, which is called The Most Ugly, and this is the longest track, and at 5 minutes and 7 seconds, I think. And we have a slow, unusually quiet build. It's almost like an atmospheric track that would play in the background of a movie when someone's kind of like staring out a window whilst traveling, or something, before business picks up as usual. The drums slap you across the face, the guitars are grooving, and Darius's vocals really are still full force. It's a very well crafted, well layered song. One verse gave me very Slam like vibes in how it was delivered, like it was very low, deep, grimy, sludgy vocals. And he says, "Obey the one that lends an open hand, welcome your judgment crowned by malevolence." And again, just such a good delivery on that lines. The entire track was really good, but it's just that one particular line where he like went very Slam breakdown. I felt like I had to point out a bit more. Moving on to track 8, we have Fear, which is one of the shortest tracks on the album, I believe, at 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Like, super short track, but the killer vocals stay on par with the longer track as from before. The drums are thick and fast, and there's some screeches from the guitar that add into this extra face melting fuckery. Like, it is just a short, full force track from go. Definitely a good one. Moving on to track 9 now, we're getting into the latter portion of this album. This is Son of Dawn, and it is 3 minutes and 33 seconds long. And as is the norm for Spite songs, there is an underlying tone of fuck religion in this one, with lines like, "Cast down your light, recite your passages, say a prayer for me and I will defy it. I am the end of all, I am hell incarnate, here to pull you down." That's like the chorus. That's repeated twice in this, maybe 3 times in this song. So very subtle, you know. And we end the song with "No forgiveness, wretched fucking disease. Grab your neck and fucking squeeze until you suffocate." um, but if you're new to Spite, like I said, you'll know that these sort of death metal-esque lyrics and anti-religion lyrics are nothing to be surprised by. There is literally one song where they say something along the lines of, "Take your crucifix, turn it upside down, lick it all around and shove it inside of your in cunt," you know, like they really have, like, from the start had these very I'm trying to think of the word, poignant, we'll go with that, poignant lyrics, like, around that topic. So moving on to track 10 anyway, we have Sounds for the Descent, which is actually the shortest song on here with 1 minute 36. This instrumental is really just a lot of peculiar screechy noises and like static and awful sounds. And in my opinion, it doesn't really add anything to the listening experience. Plus, if it's not played in the album's format, for example, like if you've got your music on shuffle, you're probably just going to end up skipping this piece of shit anyway. Really didn't add anything, and removing it wouldn't have taken anything away. So moving on to track 11 now. I think this is the second to last track. This one has a blistering fist to the face pace and is just insano from the go. Guitar work is super solid. The drums kick ass. Darius has got some grimy vocal takes in here like nothing I know. And at one point, I swear the dude just straight up sounded like he was gargling water, like when he was doing one of his takes. It was fucking, yeah. That's all I've got to say. Track 12, the final track, is called Crumble, and it's 4 minutes and 22 seconds, and I believe this is the second longest track on the album. And as is the norm, it's a face-fucking, fast-flowing, furious pace here. The guitar and drum work, that's been superb and very crisp throughout, really took a main spot on this song, in my opinion, for me. Like I said, as Darius's scythe-like vocal talent just rips through your eardrums, it is a perfect parting track to wrap up this short, furious, angry album with. So, what are my final thoughts? As much as I bloody well love Spite, I tend to find I can't listen to them for extended periods of time like I could some other artists. So I feel like the 39-minute runtime for this album was kind of ideal, even if one of the tracks was, in my own opinion, rather useless, and kind of a waste of a track spot. Like, you could have either just put the 11th track on or put something over it. Like, I don't know. But other than that, but it's Darius's usage of his great vocal range and his interesting repertoire of sounds that he can pull out at any minute, coupled with the awesome drum work and the great guitar work too throughout the album, that really keeps your attention. And the full throttle, fast-paced, aggressive fucking the world lyrics it has really does help add to all of it. So with that being said, my top 5 would probably be Lord of the Upside Down, Made to Please, The Son of Dawn, Caved In, and Crumble. And out of 10, I would probably give this album a solid 8.5 to a 9. Like I said, the only thing that really let it down for me was that one wasted track, which you could have potentially either removed it, filled it with a better song, or done something different with what you had. That's just my consumer opinion personally. So yeah, with that being said, I will love you and leave you, and I will see you in the next video, which will be a Let Us Discuss, where I'm going to delve into the relationship with music and another one of my pastime things that I like watching, wrestling. So if you're into that, stay tuned. Remember to stay safe out there, my friends. Goodbye.